Mark Wagner here, and welcome to this very, very special edition of DentalBytes. I'm your host. We have some other hosts involved in the show today. People in studio is my favorite. I have no idea. I was chuckling before this started. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. But all I know is this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully maybe a little entertaining. It's going to be more entertaining for us. Let's face it. You know, if you're not enjoying doing these things, it doesn't come across well. And that is kind of my segue here into introducing my co-host, Britt.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And also we have him in his own little, parked in the corner here. Ty.
The man.
Good day.
Mr. McClendon. And let's see if this works. It worked.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
So
It's very good.
Ty is joining us live from the local dental clinic.
Your local trusted dental clinic.
Yeah. And we all like...
Looks so real, Mark. How did you do that?
It's movie magic. We're going to talk about, I think, obviously with the three of us in a room, we're going to go off into all sorts of tangents. Ty's going to keep us on track a little bit. He's going to try. But
You're pointing at the clock.
Yeah.
Pick it up. Let's go.
Yeah, let's come on. Hurry up. I want to have a little fun today. I want to talk about, so we're all coming at this from different angles. So for those of you that don't know, Tyler has spent some time in the movie industry. Britt, you've built a really strong online social media presence over the last how long? Like
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
You really know, like you know the trends, right? You're running our page too, so thank you for all your work doing that.
Yes, thank you.
And also,
we'd be lost without you.
Folks out there, if you're looking for somebody to really take your social to the next level, Britt's, she's our gal. And get in touch with us, and we will get you guys connected. Social media presence, and like I had Rishi Sharma on the show many moons ago now, and we talked about this. We talked about how important having your online presence now is. It's almost like it's top of funnel, and that's what we've seen it as being. Is it's top of funnel. It's your brand. It's your awareness. Sadif Fazel has built her brand around, like she's only done really like organic marketing, and she's really built an audience. What it is you're developing a relationship with your potential patients before they come through the door. And we, expanding on that, it's obviously, customers, it's clients, people want and it's got to be authentic, right? Like it's got to be authentic. We know some other folks that are doing it, that it's maybe not so, it's maybe too pitchy, it's too gimmicky, it's too like overproduced. People have a really like a sense for that. And I think, if you're looking for a quick sale, maybe that the gimmicks work. Like if you're looking for a quick patient off the street, that, that Invisalign ad with the dollars off. Like we're also, with our content, we're informing our potential customers, patients, clients on how to perceive our business. So if we're selling it as sort of like, and I'm sorry, this is not our style. We're not so much the sales, let's drive like these. We do it in different ways in education. This is a medical service. We want patients to be educated on, on what to expect. Maybe there's a specific treatment that's being done. It's not so much like, hey, we're going to give you $1,500 off of Invisalign. It's more, hey, this is why you should get Invisalign or consider it as a treatment option. It's a treatment, by the way. It's not, you're not walking off the street.
Not buying a car.
You're not buying a car, right?
Sorry, I had to chime in.
No,
there.
please chime in, guys. Like,
yeah. I feel very strongly about this. Excuse me. And I just think that you're healthcare professionals, right? You're you're providing. I'm back on camera.
Yeah.
You're providing
The
treatment.
look he gave, I'm sorry.
But the treatment you're providing, right? Like, I mean, everyone wants a deal, of course, but I mean, like, this is healthcare. This is dentistry, you know?
Yeah. And I've seen it, Ty, like, and you've seen it. You know, it's the doctor's like, man, I'm getting all these patients price shopping. Well, I'll tell you why they're price shopping is because, you know, that's how you're informing them on how you operate in your practice. So if they see that you're promoting this advertisement for $1,500 off, it's like, okay, they're just seeing dollar signs. They're not seeing the value that you're providing. They're seeing you as like, okay, this guy's giving me $1,500 off. What's the next guy? The next guy's giving a $1,500 off and a toothbrush. Like you're kind of teaching them how to consume.
And I get it. Like,
Is that a train?
That is a train. There's a train coming through the show. But like Mark, I agree with you. Like, I get it. Like, if you want attention, you want people to come in, you want to get their attention with a deal. That's fine. But like I said, like I don't think we're in the used car sales business, right? We're not selling it's not a commodity. It's a treatment. It's your health. It's something that we all want to invest in our health. We all want to live long, healthy lives. And as a healthcare provider, that's, you know, the onus is on the clinician to say, no, this I've gone to school for 28 years to learn my craft. You know what I mean? Like I've invested heavily in my education and my clinical background. I've spent a lot of money building this practice. And so when we start offering those deals to patients, they're just going to pick up the phone and call the dentist across the street. I just think it's an unhealthy practice, and I think that we really need to focus on the clinician, the services they provide, the treatments they provide, and like what the patient experience is going to be.
Yeah, and really, you know, it's stemming from initially building your brand, like your identity. What makes you special, you know, and
If you can focus your approach on, you know, what can you do for that person that's watching, but also how can you portray that, you know, using your own customers and their experience and storytelling.
So, Britt,
in that way,
you see it firsthand. How quickly do you lose somebody off of like a video? How quickly are they scrolling away from something if it doesn't speak to them?
I would say 10 seconds.
Yeah.
10 to 15 seconds.
That's a long time. Is it?
I mean, you want, and that's why when you're creating your content, there's like aspects that are important, like, you know, the opening of that video.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you know some of that with all the digital stuff that you do, but I mean, like from movement to that first sentence that you're saying in that video can keep somebody there.
Yeah.
But
we're also talking about like different platforms. There's different, you know, places for certain pieces of material.
Right.
Like, so for social, or like we'll get into TikTok and things like that. Like you're completely, you're like, you almost have to create the piece for the platform these days. 'Cause like, that's how we're consuming these things. Like Instagram's probably the same. It's a little different when it comes to like, you know, the Facebook algorithms and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. And in the next 5 years, it's going to come down to how creative you can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we reverse engineer what the patient's looking for, you know, Ed Lowe, we talked about this with him for at length, where, you know, is doing a discovery with the patient and figuring out what they want, what they want that outcome to be, and then reverse engineering it from there and going back to, like, your content can really be influenced by what the end user really wants that experience to be, whether they want straighter teeth, they want a better smile, they want, you know, like and that takes, like, that's a skill, like finding what that outcome is with that patient, what they want, getting there. You might think, oh, they want Invisalign, they want ortho, etc. They want veneers, they want, you know, whatever you decide in your mind they want might be a lot different from what their perception of what they want really is. Yeah,
and I think, you know, if I like Dr. Jan Jaffer, Trek Dental was talking about this, and it's, you know, even when the patient is in the chair, and you have the screens up, like, they don't understand, right? You know, in terms of like bringing a patient, bringing them to the realization that they need the treatment.
One of the greatest pieces I've seen you guys work on was it Sphinx Orthodontics,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
And you had the story of the mom and her son and
Yeah.
why he wouldn't go to
Yeah.
the dentist, and that just kept me watching it, because authentic story of
Yeah.
somebody specifically saying, like, I didn't want to do this because of this, or I had these type of issues. And I find that most people, do go to somebody for a referral because they want to know their actual experience.
Yeah. You know what's really cool about that piece? And it's one of my favorites,
It's
actually.
great. It was great.
It was a well done piece.
It
Yeah.
was great.
Why I loved that piece, the mom, it was only going to be the son on the video. And the son actually went into the clinic. It's Dr. Albiali in Edmonton. He's a fantastic orthodontist, like speaking globally. Like he's just a brain. He's got like 18 PhDs or something crazy, right?
Wow.
So he went into the patient, the son went into the clinic, and I pulled the mom aside because the mom was like, I could feel her watching the conversation over my shoulder. And I'm like, can we talk? I want to get your perspective on this. And I really I don't like to script things. I think, people have us, they can smell it.
And it's crazy that you said that, because I was just talking to a new potential client about that, and how, they were like, well, how often would you come in to shoot, and all those kind of questions. And then it's like, I don't you have to feel the vibes of that day too. You've got time limits on people, availability, who's in the shop, whoever you're working with, right? And sometimes you can get 3 or 4 videos, whatever, but you feel the vibes and you see what's going on, and then authentically you're going into it let's just shoot this and see what comes out of it organically. And that's the key is the energy, right?
And the deeper I get into this, every time it fails, every time it has failed, is we've really gone as deep as scripting it out prior. 2 weeks prior, there's a full script, and I'm sending this out. And
so the results with the script are not as good.
They're not as good, and that translates. And Taya, I want to get into this. Have this conversation with you as a trained actor. And
can I see my angle again? I don't. Okay, that.
Typical actor, right? Can I see my angle, please?
Yeah.
How many double chins do I have in this shot?
Can I make this more about me?
Please?
Can I have this all about me?
When is he going to stop talking?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you're right though. I had a question for you about that video, because I really enjoyed that one. How old was that patient again?
So this patient was in early 20s.
Okay.
And he'd been through the system. He saw an orthodontist. The orthodontist had him in treatment for over 2 years.
And I think he had another a not so good experience prior. Correct?
Well, it's not so much that the experience. There was no results there. So Dr. Albiali is this rock star orthodontist. I would, he's the type that you would fly in from North America to go and see. He's collaborating with all sorts of folks in the area. He's teaching, right? So he's the guy for the job. He's also using the Avo device too, which is a little plug. Shameless plug to the Smile Sonica Avo system. It uses Lipus. Look at this. I'm getting into the sales pitch here. He's actually helped.
We got to pay the bill somehow, don't we?
Yeah, he's helped develop the science behind it. Anyways, he's doing doing cutting edge things that he's good at, moving teeth. It's his job. So yeah, he had this patient had not the best experience over 2 years. Went back into the GP pool. Just had his regular hygiene appointments. And then his GP, a general practitioner, for those don't know what GP stands for.
Well, nobody can get one nowadays.
Non-specialized.
Well,
yeah.
not a family doctor. But he went to his regular dentist, and his dentist was because he was only using his back molars to chew.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So his occlusion was grinding down, right? And his general dentist was like, you got to go see an orthodontist. So it just so happens his mom had watched her colleague over the last, through her treatment, and she had success in watching her she was in like the cubicle beside the mom. And she's like, wow, like your teeth move so, like it was amazing, and she was super happy. And
but this is
like
like, this is
a
the
referral.
The patient journey for me is like, that's what resonates, because, you know, there are rules, like, you know, you're not allowed to, I think, put testimonials on your website as a dentist, but hearing these stories like that, we got to hear these, right? Because like, here's an example. My wife, Katrina, she doesn't like going to the dentist. She had anxiety. And I said, okay, where's this coming from? What's the source of this anxiety? And she's got a needle phobia. Like, she can't handle blood. She's scared of needles. And I'm like, okay, I get that. And so my dentist over at JVR, Leanna and Moritz, we've had them on the show. Amazing people, amazing dentists.
Just doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing for her patients. One day I went in and I think I had a filling to get done or whatever. And I said, you know, we were talking about Katrina, and I said, yeah, she doesn't like needles. And I'm like, who does? Like, who likes needles? And she used this appliance on me, again, shameless plug, but she used it on me. I loved it. It was called the Quick Sleeper. And it was, I don't know, a way of applying anesthetic through a needle. I'm not totally familiar with it, but the way she applied the anesthetic into my gums, it was painless. I didn't really feel it. I didn't even really know the anesthetic had been like injected into me. What a great experience. So I came home and I told Katrina, I said, you should really, you know, ask her to use this appliance, the Quick Sleeper, whatever it is. And she went and had a great experience. And she's like, why doesn't every dentist have this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
The folks at Quick Sleeper, there you go. There's your shameless plug. But that's a patient journey thing where I'm like, her experience changed the way she sees going to the dentist.
Totally.
Yeah.
And bringing that aspect of just a personal touch of like, you know, a lot of people do suffer from anxiety, and it would be hard to go to a dentist and have a needle.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
No one wants a needle.
Majority of people don't want that, right? And if you can just kind of bring that aspect to the content, and like, people don't want to always see what's going on, right? Like, I think a lot of businesses might want to steer away from, you know, people being honest in some ways, but it's also like, you know, it's going to be authentic for somebody to say, look, this didn't work, but this worked, or, you know, they were able to adjust in this way, or whatever the case is, but just painting that in an authentic way, right?
And like this, like let's face it, like you know, content for these folks is I in my opinion more easy, because they're just telling their organic and authentic story about what is actually happening in their practice. Granted, Leanna's like fantastic in front of a camera, right? And Moritz and the team there, they've got a beautiful practice that looks good in front of a camera. Like, there's some places that it's. But
really, that being said, I've been there from the beginning, right?
Yeah,
I was there when she built that practice, so I've seen her journey through it. I've seen her like at the point where she had never done any of this stuff. So it's really cool to watch her journey over a short couple of years, to be someone who had built a practice, was, you know, worried about making sure she had enough patients and getting the business off the ground, to now being this, you know, KOL, a key opinion leader, and like top in her field. So like, tip of the hat. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love seeing, you know, you've seen a increase on TikTok and these platforms of dental clinics, or, you know, using their team and doing, you know, the fun videos and the, you know, bringing that aspect to it, which has been really cool. And, you know, I work closely with Smiles Orthodontics too, and just seeing how, you know, when you can get the team together and get everybody like having fun and putting videos together too, and then bringing the fun aspect and the teaching aspect and story.
The team culture.
Britt, let's dive into that. I think this is like obviously this stems from having a cohesive team and them having like, it's a great, I think, culture builder as well.
Yeah.
But and obviously, you know, reach out to us, because like this is our field of work. But where does one begin for these things? Like, you know, is TikTok important these days? Like, where should dental practices be posting?
I mean, number one, Instagram and Facebook for sure for a dental practice.
Yeah.
I don't think LinkedIn is that important, but I get it in a corporate aspect of it.
B2B.
You know, where LinkedIn really works is if, you know, it's industry talk. You know what I mean? It's more doctors talking to doctors about.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, if you can use LinkedIn as well, that's great. But I would tell anybody Instagram and Facebook for sure. And those two are linked together. The TikTok one is funny because, you know, we've seen in the media lately, I don't get into politic talk on my socials, but we saw that there was a, you know, ban of some sort that was going to come into effect. I think it came into effect for a day, and then, you know, somebody saved the day and fixed that. But that can be very concerning, I think, for a lot of people. And I learned my lesson the hard way a few years ago because I built a huge following on my TikTok, and I posted a video one day with audio trending, or audio that was trending. I didn't violate any guidelines from what the guidelines say, and they took my TikTok down. I lost all my followers. I lost all my content.
You got canceled.
What can we dive into that? Like, what are we all at risk from this? Like, is it a thing?
Yeah. So it was a huge. At the time, I was heartbroken and felt like I'd grown this, and it's funny because I'd been on Instagram for so long. It took me so long to build what I had there.
Yeah.
Then I went on TikTok and I just so quick, it just moved so quickly. And I was so proud of that. And then it all got taken down, and after trying to get a hold of them and trying to get my page back, the page wasn't coming back. I needed to start from scratch, and it was a huge learning situation for me, and I'm so glad that it happened now because I realized my people are always going to find me. I know how to use these platforms. I've built them before. I can do it again.
So Britt, here's my question about this.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a brick and mortar business, and someone does that to you, someone unplugs your business, right? Isn't there litigation involved behind that?
No.
Like, these companies like Meta or whatever, I'm not trying to speak ill of them, but I'm like, you can just come and unplug somebody who's spent years building a business online, and then you just get unplugged and it's all okay. Like, have they given you a reason why they took you down?
They said that I violated some type of.
Sorry, my phone's
some type of.
Something.
Yeah, something.
So they weren't specific about why you got pulled down?
No.
Okay.
I did something. I violated something as per their terms, and I fought it. So you can send in the thing and say, and then I asked for my content as well, and it was a dead end after 2 months, and I stopped going on the platform. Part of myself wanted to give up, but there's this amazing friend of mine who's been a mentor of mine for many years, and he did very successful on Etsy.
On Etsy, okay, yeah.
And I remember he was banking maybe 20 grand a month off of Etsy. He was doing so well. He was a 5-star. And I went to him during this time because I remember him telling me how he was doing so well on there. And then he got a couple ratings that were low, and it totally fucked his business.
Oh, wow.
And he ended up not being on Etsy anymore. It's a long story, and there's more to that story, but it just ruined what he had built. And it was a learning. I went to him because I said why am I doing this? What a waste of time. How could they just do this to me? And I realized, there's some important points here to note. You always want to be on more than one platform if you're going to do it, because say they take down my Instagram tomorrow, then I have the other platforms and building those, right? Mm-hmm. And then you also want to have another avenue where you're keeping your content, so you have that for yourself. So number 2. And then number 3, considering creating some type of your own page, whether it's a website where you have your content on it and stuff, so you're controlling that, because at the end of the day, they're controlling your stuff,
and it could pull the whole platform off.
Absolutely, it's so it forced me to take a step back and say, why am I doing this? How am I doing this? And I can do this again. And I've had some very viral, successful videos on my TikTok, more than I did before, with a way less following now. But it's not about those things anymore. And going through that process, I learned just a little bit more about, my people will find me no matter what.
Well,
so let's dive into this, Britt. What are 3 key things that you can do, and keeping our audience in mind, the dental practice or the medical practice.
Yep.
How can they build a following? Like quickly.
I would never
Put this
say.
phone outside. Sorry, my phone keeps chiming.
It's not a quick thing, but I'm going to say that they need to look at their competitors, look at the other people on the platforms, and really investigate what other people are doing and try to create their own twist on that. And you have to, and so back to what I was just talking about losing platforms and them just taking it away from you. There's an algorithm and there's things that are put in place for people on their pages, and if you're liking certain things or you're watching certain things or you're talking to certain people, it's all part of what your platform is doing. But if a dental clinic can get their team together on a Friday and use one of the trending audios that's going on, there's a really popular song right now by Lola Young, and if you could use that song on a video, you could get a lot of views, a lot of conversion from just doing what other people are doing on the platform, but doing it in your way. Right. That's going to be a really quick way to draw stuff in.
So they like the platforms are using these like popular songs and these popular trends and putting this content in front of people more frequently. It's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the algorithm unfortunately will, put you above the other people because you're using the trending stuff.
Yeah. Right. What's your thoughts on like hashtags and things like that?
Hashtags are completely irrelevant now. Yeah. You can use them if you want, but it's going to be the keywords in your post that's going to bring you
so
that SEO
it's actually pulling your voice off and scripting it behind the scenes, like the text, it's pulling it off.
What do you mean, like,
or just in the copy of the post?
Whatever you're captioning the photo
gotcha.
is going to be important, and you want to use keywords in that. So, if you're a dental practice and you want to draw people to Invisalign, you want to use the word Invisalign in that caption. Yeah. Hashtags are irrelevant now. They don't work.
They don't work.
And the algorithm's been changing throughout the years, but from the time that I spend on social media, the research that I do weekly, just the trending and diving into everything that's going on, you're literally gonna win if you're kind of copying and following what other people are doing. That's just how they work. Yeah, and if you can build your platform off that, but doing it with your own twist, then you're going to be winning.
And now is that different on each platform? Like TikTok will have its own trending stuff. Instagram will have its own trending stuff.
It's very similar.
They're similar?
Yeah. Very similar, but TikTok is its own beast. It really is. Yeah. And I would suggest anybody should be on there. I mean, there's billions of people on
Britt,
that.
How much of your time do you think is spent like doing the research and the consultative background? Like when you talk about how your platform was pulled down, that for me, like if I'm looking for someone to help me with my social media management or creation, I want someone who wears the battle scars, right? Yeah. So you've got some battle scars with that type of stuff happening. You've learned from it. You've had to do the research. You're much wiser now for that. And you're like, now I understand the importance of making sure that doing a background check or like making sure that the platform you're on is, you're compliant or whatever you want to call it. So like, is there like, what can you quantify how much your weekly workload goes into like doing research on social and the trends and what's changing out there?
I mean, I just spend time online. Like I scroll. Yeah. That's what I do. And I see the difference between the platforms. I see like what's popular. I spend a lot of time on them. I'm not on there 8 hours a day, but the time that I am on there, I'm watching to see like what's popular, what songs like the latest, what's gone viral, what pages, like all that kind of stuff. I just spend time on the platforms. That's how I've always done it.
You're in the river. You're swimming in the river.
Does how much impact or influence does just like what's happening in society influence like the content that's being created?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about perspective. I mean, there's people that will tell you social media is terrible and your kids shouldn't have it, and but then there's an amazing other perspective of it that like we have these platforms where we're like we can see things, we can and we can control those things. At the end of the day, we can control. Like they'll if you're clicking on stuff that's bad, you're going to continue to see that, right? So
Yeah.
you have to keep that in mind. And but you have to always remember at the end of the day, you have control over what you're allowing yourself to take in. And if you're a parent and your child wants social media, then that's your responsibility kind of to
How important is engagement on these platforms? Like, are you benefited in an algorithm way to say an Instagram flip through and leave comments and likes and that kind of thing? Like, is that
I think engagement's
impactful?
always important, especially for a business, because you need to be talking to people, engaging with people. You can grow your following that way. But unfortunately, the way that our world is going in the next few years and how it already is right now is we're moving so quickly, and people just don't have time to do that. And I think your number one focus on social right now should be doing videos and posting videos.
Okay, so that brings me right now.
No stock photos, no
The playback's up here. That's why I keep staring.
That's fine. Yeah.
That brings me right. So you talked about Gary Vaynerchuk. Big shout out to him. Obviously, we do consume quite a bit of his content.
Yeah.
So like elephant in the room, like AI, like where you mentioned it's moving quickly, things are changing fast.
You got to catch people's attention right away. Like, it's going to be the lazy way of doing stuff now in a way, right? Like, and technology is just moving to these higher
Here's the thing. Like,
heights.
I'm using it. But like, the thing is like, let's not, AI shouldn't like create the content. It should be used as a tool for you to create the content.
So the way I see it too, Mark, to add to that, I see a utility side to AI, which you and I use. You probably use more AI more for creative than I do, but utility side, right? So if someone says, hey, Tyler, write me a proposal for that, right? Well, ChatGPT has taken like 3 hours out of my day giving me back 3 hours out of the day, or 2 hours, however long it would take me to write that proposal. So that, for me in my world, that's the sort of the utility side of it. Is the creative side, like it just seems like the creative side is like this Pandora's box that's kind of scaring the crap out of everybody. Like, is that what we're seeing? Like, what do you think the biggest changes are that are happening?
I can answer this one.
Sure, yeah.
I can answer.
Does it look weird when I look right into the camera like this?
No, I like it.
I feel like a color correspondent on the corner.
That's what
I'm
I want.
doing some play-by-play for the football game.
That's what I want. Like, eventually you're going to tell us what the weather's going to be like for the weekend.
Over here, we've got a nasty weather pattern coming in over
high
here.
pressure front, yeah.
Can you put me back in a dental office, Mark?
Yeah,
I don't like the blue screen.
I have to flick it on and off.
There it is.
ChatGPT is like my best friend now.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so
tell us what's your take on this?
And I know you guys will agree with this.
I find this really fascinating.
We all have a sense for the fake shit, right? And AI is
you
at
always will
it's
as
all
a
in the
human.
eyes.
You
So-
always will as a human.
and so
in the eyes. Ask the actor. It's in the eyes.
you can see it.
You can tell I'm real.
I want to dial into this. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question here next time.
Do it.
So we can you know when the post is like it's AI, like, and you go to the comment section and everybody's like, I'm so fucking tired of seeing these fake clips. So AI is going to get better, obviously, but people will always gravitate towards a more authentic, genuine, real stuff. Like that's why having conversations face to face will always beat virtual conversations. Like,
it's amazing that we have the tools now to be, I could have done this from somewhere else. That's great.
Yeah.
But yes, connection is always going to be important.
Where the foundational piece in this puzzle of creating content is, we're all fucking human. We're all human. So just be a fucking human in front of the camera. Like, I'm trying to emphasize that I don't usually swear, but just be a goddamn human. Like, and don't like portray yourself as somebody different, because they'll see your content. If they go to your practice and you're a different person, it leaves such a bad taste. So like, people are.
This is not the Whopper I saw in the ad.
Yeah, people are developing a relationship with you. It's a one-sided relationship before you show up to your business, right? They're getting to know you and who you are. If it is like we're creating content for a business, that sense. Like, obviously there's you have your personal pages, and that's more about like who you are as an individual and that.
But I think like to add to that, Mark, I think because we work as dental consultants, right? I've been a consultant for years. You've been a consultant. Britt's consulting on the social media side for our dentists. I think that's become like a powerful paramount importance now, because here I am advising my dental clients on things they can do to enhance or streamline or make their practice more efficient. But I'm also saying, hey, not only should you do that, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you've done this thing to make your practice more efficient or improve the patient experience. So I think that genuine authenticity that you talk about is
education around that. Like
education.
So here's I fully agree, obviously, but
dental office again.
well, would you tell Dr. Mustafa there, or not Mustafa, Dr. Cloves there behind you, like. We're using
is that who it is, Dr. Cloves?
Dr. Cloves. Like, what would you tell Doc? And like, here we are using a stock image of a dental practice. Like,
what's the context here?
Number one, I wouldn't use this stock photo.
Yeah, what's going on? Like,
she's way too happy to be the dentist.
Unless you're on Pinterest, I don't want to see any stock photos.
Yeah, we got like a prime example of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's like totally happy about this situation.
It's
right now.
so boring.
Sorry, I got to move so I see your hands. So there's So
there's a needle there. And she's not like that.
She's not fully prone either.
Yeah.
Like,
is there a needle there? Where's the needle?
I don't know. Something. In
she's got a needle in her left hand right there.
Yeah, looks like something.
I think so. That patient is way too happy with the needle that's about to get thrust into her gums.
Like, let's talk about this. Like, how
I want a 10-second video, and I want it to show me I'm exaggerating, 30-second video.
Because you see people parking images like this on their website is like.
And apologies to whoever's image this is if we're totally ripping it apart.
I guarantee
a website should be all video.
These are not actual. These are actors. They're not actual. This isn't an actual dental.
That's fine, but I don't want to call somebody out. But like, yeah, you're right. Like, so. This image is totally fabricated. It's got the white background. Now, I mean, a lot of dental offices do look like this now because like I have a hand in helping design them and put them together. So a lot of people are going for that clinical white look. But that being said, is this going to be my experience? This is the shiny whopper that we're seeing in the ad. That unless I get that experience, unless I'm happy to get that needle in my mouth, my expectations are going to be like let down, right?
How cool was the video? How cool was the video? The experience video that you did for the gentleman in Nanaimo, and how he had the Netflix and the experience of just sitting in the chair there and being able to put a movie on and watch that or whatever.
Those headphones were amazing.
I mean. But it's like you want to see experience. You want to see it.
Dr. Faizi? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
What's the gal doing in the background? What do you think
she's contemplating life?
What is she looking at? How is she?
She's like,
how is she eating to? She's
taking a petri dish to the lab.
It's so weird.
She's like, these damn white people.
They got a urine sample for something. I don't know what for.
Yeah. She's like, get me out of here.
Why can't I be the dentist?
But
God damn it.
Britt, you're right though. So we did that video in Nanaimo for Dr. Faizi. Pardon me if it's Faizi. I think it's Faizi.
Fozzie.
We did that video for him, and it was like I wanted to be in that video because I'm like, let's shoot me being in the chair, and I put those headphones on, and it was like, let's like. Dr. Faizi, like walk me through your practice. Let's have a conversation. Like show me what it's like to be a patient in your practice. Like because there was so much to like. There was a new practice. There was a lot to talk about. But I'm like, I just want to let's just drill into what it is. Pardon the pun. Let's just get at what it is that is the patient experience here. And he was like all about it. He's like, cool, yeah. I just want to walk down I would typically walk the patient in, we'd have the treatment, and then we'd walk them out, we'd have a conversation about them. They've got a lot of great ambient light in there. It's a beautiful practice.
It's so beautiful in there. You got it. Yeah. And and he is such a lovely
He's a lovely
little man
terrified of being on camera. Did not want to be on camera.
But he did it, and he was really and it worked for him. And if you meet him and you go in there, like you said, you're gonna get what you got on that video. He's a shy kind of guy, but he knows what he's doing, and he was very personable and very kind.
Well, his vocation is not being on camera, right? His vocation is get in here and let me get in your mouth and fix what's going on there, right? So
I wouldn't even have as a place setter, I wouldn't have stock image. Like you have a website or whatever, I would not.
Yeah.
And how hilarious has it been, like, for all the ads that we put together? How many patients have you been? Like, that's like your number one acting role is
how many have I been?
Yeah, you're like the patient for DOD. Like,
well, I think it's a lot of it is like in Dr. Faizi's scenario, like he did not like the idea of being on camera, like, and this is, we've seen this more times than not, The dentist they're not comfortable being in front of camera, and that's okay. Right. So we're going to find your comfort level of being in front of camera, and the comfort level we found with him, it was at Pacific One Dental in Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Another shout out. But with him, it was like, cool. So we're going to find your comfort zone in shooting this commercial and shooting this ad. And to be honest with you, looking back on it, I wouldn't have done it any other way, because like, you know, he was struggling with the language. He was trying to get the words out, but I'm like, I speak English, and sometimes when the cameras roll, I can't get the words out, right? So,
question, Ty.
Yeah.
Like you see it all the time from your eye. What mistakes are people making in front of camera? What do you see?
Oh, good question. I wouldn't. First of all, to get in front of a camera, it's extremely courageous. Okay, so like just taking that first step, getting in front of a camera, and knowing that you have to do it, and getting out there is like, my hat's off to everyone that does it. I think it's great. I think more people need to do it.
And you were so good when we went to Dr. Ben's practice in Victoria and like working with the team there, because you like just have that camera presence and you're way more comfortable, I feel like, than most of us. But like, you know, they were struggling with that. But then you just really brought it out of them too. Like just to be like, you were like chill about it and like just made them feel comfortable.
Just have a conversation, right? Like I think that my years of working around cameras, you know, being in front of a camera, film and TV, whatever, your training's only gonna get you so far, right? So as an actor, I'd be like, okay, forget there's 100 people watching you do this. Forget there's a camera rolling. You kind of got to put all that shit out of your head and just say, what am I doing? What do I got to get from A to B, right? And I know there's 50 lines between here and the end of the scene, but I got to go back to my training. I got to figure out how to get the words out. I got to make it compelling. I got to make it interesting. I got to play my jet. There's a lot going on when you're an actor, which I can live in that world because that's my training. That's my background. That's what I do. But when you're a dentist speaking in front of a camera, and Dr. Ben Bell is a great friend of mine. We've been friends since we were kids. And he's like, Ty, please, you know, I don't know if I want to do this. Right. So for me, it was, sorry, dude, you're too good looking. I need to put you in front of the camera. He's a handsome dude.
And it's important for people to know that there's options. Like you don't really have to specifically speak either, or
yes,
you can use your team for, you know, videos and stuff like that.
Where that works really great is if you can get a patient to agree to this, and it could be like somebody from the practice, just get a non-scripted, no audio, just of patient interaction.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that B-roll. That slow motion. Yeah. That slow motion B-roll of the patient walking into the practice and the dentist coming out and greeting them.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shots, because that, like, nothing encapsulates rapport with your patients better than having a dentist come out and greet them and seeing the patient like genuinely happy to see their dentist.
Yeah.
Because
it's
that
a great
just
intro.
Seeing that just seeing that image is going to, like, if I saw that and I was nervous to go to a dentist who I was not familiar with and I saw that in a video, I'm not listening to those $1,500 Invisalign sales. Okay. I'm like, I want to see that dude or that girl, that person, because they're going to make me feel comfortable sitting in the dental chair.
You know what that is, and know why we have that program so well. That's people watching. Yeah. You can be sitting at a hockey game or in a restaurant. You like the way people carry themselves speaks volumes. How like you can tell somebody's chairside manner or their ability to make somebody feel comfortable in just standing back and watching that interaction. Like they're laughing, they're in a non-threatening position, they're really engaged with that person.
Dentistry is a conversation.
Yeah.
Dentistry is a conversation. It's a conversation with you and your team as a dentist. It's a conversation with you and your patients. And it's a discovery, right? You're finding out, what does your patient want? How will this translate into a great experience for you?
It's been so cool working closely with Smiles Orthodontics in North Van too, and Dr. Sam Dyer's practice and the girls and the team there, because they've grown so much on social media, and you
so
know,
cool.
when it first started, none of them wanted to do videos or anything. And now they've just become these personalities where, you know, people go into the shop now and it's like, oh, I saw you on Instagram, or, you know, just having more of a fun feel to their experience when they're going into the shop and knowing the girls and stuff, and how close knit of a little family they've become there, and like how fun it's become for me. They're one of my funnest clients to work with because they're so fun to like create with, and I can give them anything and they're like, let's do it, you know, and then put a dental twist on that or orthodontic twist on it.
To echo that and to like piggyback on that, like I had Sadif Fazell on the show and she's built up a good following as well.
She's fantastic.
She's amazing. She's doing the right thing. And then obviously, you know, we'll dive into this after, but she'll have patients that will come into the clinic and they'll cite a video that they saw. You know, this connected with me.
Right.
This is why I'm here. And like Sadif will be like, I don't even remember making that video. Right?
Because she makes so much content,
But
right?
she
She's
does,
got it down pat.
Dr. McKenzie is the same.
Yeah.
She does the trending stuff. She gets her team involved. It's like, that is the key. That is the key right there.
And the foundational piece of all this, like our friends in Nanaimo, Ben, you know, JVR, all of these guys have really, it doesn't start with the social, it starts with the foundational pieces and like your identity. That's where I implore and encourage clinics to, that's where you start before you get a camera and start creating this material. Who the hell are you? And like, I said that kind of mean, but like, who the heck are you? Like, no, really, like, I think it's important to identify what your vision is, what your like, how you want patients to perceive, you know, your, like what you're doing, how you want patients to feel in your practice, your colors, your vibe in your clinic.
People want to feel like you're again a human.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Back to the AI thing. Like
where we need to get away from is this whole corporate clinical feel.
Wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Can I add to that?
Of course.
What we do.
No, you can't. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think I answered your question about what people make mistakes on, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got derailed on that one.
Yeah.
I'll come back to
Sorry.
it. But so I think just to add to your point, like with what Dr. Fazal and what all these great dentists are doing, is that this is not a transactional thing, right? So people come to us and they're like, well, what's my ROI on using Dentist on Demand? You guys are going to shoot some video. You guys are going to create some content for me. You can do ads. You're going to bring Brit in. Well, how many patients can I expect out of that? And I think that that mentality, I'm not going to say it's wrong, because it's a business mentality. We run a business. I run a business. I'm like, before I invest in something,
I gotta jump in and answer this right away after this. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Before I invest in something, first question that comes across my desk, right? Someone says to me, "Hey, Tyler, you should buy our software and resell it." I'm like, "Okay, cool, but what's like, how many units am I going to sell? What am I going to make out? What am I going to make off of this?" Right? So, like, I think transactionally, you know, if someone was looking to use a company like Dentist on Demand, we're a content-driven company, the ROI question comes up a lot, and it's so, I'm always hesitate to answer that question, because I don't want to set false expectations. You can debate this. Is there a marketing company on this planet that can tell you exactly how many patients they can yield for you depending on how much you spend?
The perspective needs to change there. And
Thank you.
that's the old school thinking.
And I will add this. This is not from me. Defining success in a dental practice is not defined in a month analytical numbers. This is from Dr. Jan Jaffer, that has 17 dental practices across Calgary doing all the right things. He identifies success in a dental practice in if that patient is still a patient after 10 years. So now what we're helping, our business is helping that dental practice is telling that story to the community and bringing in those patients and helping you develop the relationship with those patients before they come to the door. We're not a gimmicky, like...
but that's what we're doing.
The deal, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're not a gimmicky, let's sell like 10 Invisalign cases. And like, obviously this is like an important piece to the puzzle. We're all about doing the right thing and helping helping our clients do the right thing and tell their story and develop their brand. That's what it's all about. It's not about like, you know, looking at that report and seeing it in like this small like fragment of time. If you're going to be a successful clinician out there, you need to be thinking about like not acquiring, but retaining. And I argue with you, if your objective and your MO is to drive Invisalign through the door, which isn't, don't get me wrong, if you have the right idea about Invisalign as a treatment option, I'm going to get real heated here because I'm seeing this really ugly trend rearing its head. Like I'm seeing this corporate BS settling into the industry, and I can see it derailing all the good shit that the people that are trying to do the right thing.
100%.
I'm seeing it like making this rearing its this nasty, ugly little sales head. Like I understand it's a business and we want to get people through the door, but I'm really passionate about the work that these people are doing in their clinics. A lot of these people are patient first, and I think the further away we get from patient first, the farther away from our humanity we get. If it becomes that we're just looking at a goddamn report every month and not focusing on taking care of the person that's in that chair and making them feel comfortable, listen, if you're doing the right thing in your practice is going to grow. Jan Jaffer, Sadif Fazal, JVR Dental, all of these people are doing the right thing. Sadif became the first top 1% Invisalign provider in Vancouver. That's a large magnitude of Invisalign patients by doing the right goddamn thing and using Invisalign as a treatment option. Like you're getting these folks walking off the street, and in the hockey dressing room, I see it. And I see these guys like, hey, Mark, should I get it like this Invisalign? Should I do it? I'm like, how did the doc talk to you about it? And what has your history been? Like knowing.
Did the doctor talk to you about it?
Yeah, not
a treatment coordinator, the doctor.
Understanding how it led up to them, like getting that treatment. Do you have clicking and popping in your joint? Like, you get headaches and that? Like, did they take a CBCT and show you where you're having issues? So
this
is where these guys out there are running the risks of like, the Smile Direct Club. Do we want to turn the industry into Smile Direct Club? That was a big fail, wasn't it?
There's a big awakening on that one, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. I think that's a positive energy that's come out of the industry to realize, yeah, you know what? Humans are like 90% of this business. It doesn't run on auto. And I think that, you know, the AI revolution that's here or whatever's happening, we're moving towards the abyss. I call bullshit. I think people are seeing right through it too. Yeah. I think, you know, humans can see humans, and I think that I can see when something comes across my Instagram that's AI.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone can see, you can sense it. There's something going on there.
And me going back to me losing my TikTok and all that, and having to ask myself, like, am I doing this for views? Am I doing this for?
What are you doing it for?
What am I doing it for? And then it goes
vanity.
But then and like the views and all this, it goes back to dentistry and clinics, and like, are you doing it for the patient or are you doing it for these reports? Like, you know, it's like,
I have a great example. So there were two practices that opened not too long ago. They opened up literally 50 feet from each other. Okay, I won't say where.
I know who it is already.
Yeah,
We've had this conversation.
No. And I don't want to point fingers. I'm just saying, one practice, they were 50 feet apart. Okay, and I'm somewhat familiar. And one practice is starving for patients, and the other one is busier than they can be. They're getting more patients than they can handle right now. And I remember, I went into the busy one and I said, "What's your secret? What's happening?" And she's like, "I live here. I never leave." And I'm like, "Okay, is that a good thing?" She's like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "That's what it takes to start a practice. You got to be here." A practitioner needs to be in their practice. And I've gotten this from numerous, coaches, consultants throughout the years, is that a practitioner needs to be in their practice. You need to be there. You need to be able to provide a service for patients, especially if you're on the ground level in sort of like a commerce-y area. So the one practice, the dentist was there maybe 2 days a week, whatever it was. The other dentist was there like 6 days a week, nonstop, because she's like, I started this practice. I know what I got to do. I got to be here. I got to grind it out. It's going to suck for the first couple of years, but it'll pay off. She is busy, like crazy busy. The other practice is not. And my point of bringing this up is that sometimes it just comes down to basics. Like, be there, provide a great service for your patients, show you care, and show up.
Mm-hmm.
And who your team is too is important too. I mean, who you
100%.
have.
What's important?
Yeah.
Like, what is important?
Yeah.
Like, we can talk about leadership. We can talk about like systems.
If you're
can dive
building
into
a
there.
social media, what's important? I mean,
Yeah.
is at the end of the day, why are you doing it? Like, are you
Yeah.
doing it so that you can, be popular, or are you doing it because you have you really love food and you love to eat around in Vancouver and you
Yeah.
love to tell people the dope places to eat, or like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
What's your passion?
Yeah.
So I had Dr. Brian on from I called him Brain too.
You did.
I'm such the worst. Like, I'm the worst. Tyler knows it. Like, I had his little the name bar on the bottom, and he's like, Mark, before we start, my name's Brian, not Brain. But his business partner, like, I guess made him, like, he showed me a credit card, like a business credit card, and his business partner actually spelled his name Brain as well. But anyways, like,
It's a common mistake. Can I add to that? I remember, like, back when I was a teenager. Do you guys remember who Brian Mulrooney is?
yes,
Do you remember who brought the GST in? Brian Mulrooney.
there you go.
So this is, I'm showing my age right now, sorry. But there was a bumper sticker, and I'll never forget. I was driving down the road with at that time was my brother-in-law, and he was laughing. He's like, look at that bumper sticker. It had somebody like sticking their middle finger up, and it said, and sorry, I'll tell you what he thought it said. He thought it said, take this brain. And he had it, because he quickly glanced at it, and I took a closer look, and I'm like, that's not what it says, man. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, it says tax this, Brian. And I'm like, that's funny. I'm like, it was just funny that the Brain Brian thing. I thought it was hilarious. Carry on. Okay, so
I missed you guys so much.
the tangent time has happened.
This is kind of our Christmas party. We
Okay.
didn't,
Yeah.
So, Mark, let's go back to because you asked me a rather direct question, and in typical Tyler fashion, I went on a huge tangent. You asked me what people typically do wrong.
Yes.
Did I answer that question?
No, now you're going
Okay,
to.
so now I'm going to. It's a hard question to answer, because to say, I went on the whole courageous rant about how courageous it is, and how, like, getting in front of camera is hard, and just finding a comfort. Like, it's hard to get comfortable in front of camera. So I think that to say that's wrong, that's right, it's really more about what's having more impact, what's going to tell your story the best. So I think if you, again, reverse engineer what you're trying to do in front of the camera, you can avoid the pitfalls of failing in front of the camera. So pitfalls meaning like overthinking it, because if you overthink stuff, like when I say there's 100 people watching and I got to get my lines out, as soon as they call action, people get stage fright, right? Like when they called, I was a paid actor. If they called action and I got stage fright and I couldn't talk, I'm not going to get another acting job again. So you got to find ways to get around that. So in its most simplest form is to avoid pitfalls or mistakes or coming across in a way that you don't like, that you're like, this isn't going to resonate, my patient base isn't going to like this, my audience won't like this, is just simply take a step back, take a deep breath, and focus on what the message is supposed to be, and make it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. As soon as the camera's running, people want to overcomplicate, like I'm doing right now, but keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Take a deep breath and just get the message out.
But
And
you
just
did
start simple.
such a good job, like when we were at Dr. Ven's practice too, like, some of the younger girls there, they didn't want to get in front of the video, and then you were literally like, well, just tell, I don't know, at some point
Let's just start a conversation.
you're like,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your name and what you do here. And then it was like, that was like a simple little clip that we did, but it was great. The clip was great. And it was just introducing somebody simply and just like giving them a presence online now. It's like, okay, this is somebody that works here.
Well, now we know who she is.
We know who she
right?
is,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
And it opens up so many things.
Mhm.
It just
Because
really
the
does.
team
And
is
that's,
so-
see how simple that is, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Tyler's saying like, try to simplify it in front of the camera, even though it's so hard, right?
Like people
Well, these
feel
are
like
micro clips.
It becomes, when it's overproduced or overthought out, then you lose the organic feel of it, right?
Yeah.
It
And then
derails
that's
it.
like you see these videos, these long form videos where the dentist is selling the patient something. Like, I don't even know you. Why are you trying to sell me Invisalign?
Yeah.
I know
I
nothing about
I-
your practice.
I-
I don't know why you're telling me about Invisalign.
Yeah.
I just want to find a dentist. Maybe Invisalign's something I'm consider, or I'm going to say clear aligners. Maybe that's something I'm going to consider. I don't know. We haven't done a discovery on what my oral needs are yet. I'm like, don't sell me on the solution before you even meet me. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't even want to get into it. It's I was almost going to start yelling there. Like,
I know.
Have you ever-
when I see those posts, it makes me incredibly angry because I think it derails and it makes the dental industry look like a used car, like it's a
stop doing that.
It's like makes it feel like a car dealership.
But it goes back.
Stop!
It goes back to what you said too.
Stop
with
it!
With like I've scripted this whole thing and then we ended up doing something totally different. It's like, have you ever tried to plan something with your family, for example, and like the whole day just goes to shit, all the stuff that you planned?
Always.
And it's like sometimes it's just better to be on that vacation where you have that full day of like you can just do whatever comes up and then it just works out. You see how it organically works out perfectly. I mean, you can put that into
it takes practice. It takes practice, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't
sometimes
travel
you need-
well. I don't travel well, Brett. So I love your analogy here, because it's like pulling teeth to get me to convincing me to go to the Mayan Riviera and go on an expedition is like, forget it.
Why?
Okay,
Why?
because I'm just one of those guys. I'm like, oh, again, I look at the mountain and I'm like, oh wow, we have to go to somewhere exotic and do weird things in the jungle. That is not for me. Not interested. Katrina, my wife, God bless her, she's figured this out about me. She's like, you go right to the end of the conversation and you put yourself in the middle of some weird climate with big bugs and nasty stuff.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Which is me. I catastrophize, so whatever. It's a common. She's like, let's start simple, Ty. We're going to get on a plane. We're going to go somewhere. It's going to be nice and warm. And if you wake up one day and you feel like you might want to go on a trek, or you want to go where there's nice warm water, maybe you want to scuba dive, whatever. She starts taking me on that journey so that eventually I'm like, okay, cool. And then I start thinking about what I want to get out of it. Right? I'm like, well, what will this journey do for me? She's like, you're stressed. You're working too much. You need some kind of break.
Right.
Right? So it's like, I see this journey being a good thing for your mental health.
And if
Do you
you
agree
went
with
and
that?
did that adventure, you would have so much fun. But like I have anxiety stuff. So like I'll get overwhelmed by like something like that quickly. Like I can see that how you're like, but then
You can tell me I'm going to have fun 1,000 times. I
or
don't
if
hear
it's
it.
out of my comfort zone, I'm like, I don't want to do it, I guess. Or I feel like maybe something will happen when I go do it. But then it's like that you go do it and you're like, oh my God, like why
So
didn't
glad I did
I
that. Yeah.
do that? It's like we put that pressure and that, overwhelming kind of aspect onto it. But
So now imagine we're
okay.
coming to a patient, right? And we're saying, hey, we're going to give you teeth in a day, right?
So
It's like,
let's just
whoa, you just
Hey.
took me right to the end of the finish line, and my toe's not even in the water yet.
So
Ty-
Ty, watch this.
Can you give us
Okay,
the
Ty.
news report
Ty,
for today, please?
Go. Improv. Go.
I didn't see the
We're
plane
gonna make a
back.
piece of content here. Go.
Okay.
Just do it.
Say anything?
Something. Anything. Go for it.
We're having a cold front that is storming towards the coast, and I am scared. I just peed my pants, and I need to change them right now.
The
Is that good
forecast.
content for you? That's your forecast for today.
No, keep going. And then here's the next frame. Okay, what's happening on
there's
this
the
one?
forecast right there. Light rain, highs of 6, lows of -1. What else am I saying? This
I
is
don't-
good. Okay,
it's-
I gotta look at the weather, the meteorologist. So they have a cheat teleprompter here. Mine's up here, so I gotta look up.
That's
to the
true.
top of the
That's
screen.
true.
This is
Now-
brilliant. You look really good, actually. He looks like
Thank
he.
you.
Yeah.
What's happening there, though, Ty?
Now, if you look towards the lower eastern seaboard, you'll see that there's a high pressure system coming in. It's moving rather quickly. So, folks, in anywhere north of Alabama, you might want to head for the hills. Oh, wait, there are no hills there. Come to Vancouver. You might want to ski. You can go to the beach. You can have a good time there. So, just move from that part right there all the way up over here,
There
because we need more people moving into Canada.
There might be in the next little while.
Oh, gosh.
They're shutting the borders. We can't. We don't.
We won't go there.
No more-
We
no
won't
more
go
people
there.
coming to
No,
Canada.
no. We
I
want.
know.
No, I think it's a good thing. I
We
think
love
need
everyone. We
immigration.
want them all.
No, we do.
Bring 'em on.
Yes.
Guys,
Was that good content? Did you like that?
It's beautiful. Guys, I'm hungry.
Me too. And I have to go to Little Caesars because
Yeah.
I'm in Langley.
Well, I'm
No,
thinking
it's not
of you.
there anymore. You can't do it.
Well,
What?
Brisk,
Got rid
you
of
just
it.
looked it up. It's 16
16
minutes
minutes
away.
away.
No.
Little Caesars, sponsor me, please. I love love
Crazy bread.
your
Little
crazy
Caesars is
bread,
good.
but stuffed, only stuffed.
Oh,
And I just crush it every time I come out to the Boons. I gotta go to
The
Little Caesars.
Boons, that's where
So
we
I
are
told the
today.
guys we're gonna do our business
hey
lunch
Ty,
at
what's it
Little
like being in the
Caesars.
bones here?
I'm in the bones.
I'm in the bones.
Got my banjo.
Before we end today, guys, though, I really want to say to the both of you, thank you so much for being just like, you guys are just, I consider you guys my friends,
Oh, thank God.
my business
cry.
partners.
I'm
No,
gonna
but you
cry.
guys have just like, you guys are like my big brothers. You guys have looked out for me.
Aw.
I can see so much in the future for all of us. And I think we've just come together at such a good time. And just thank you for everything, both of you.
Thank you.
And
we wouldn't have you on board if we didn't.
Yeah, I'll shoot that
Place
right
a
back at you, Britt. Like,
ton of value on getting
you
the
have
stuff
a
you give us.
lot of talent. You're
Thank you.
You're so much fun. I look forward to interacting with you. So thank you.
Just keeping it real, keeping it fun, and
Yeah.
like just the wealth of knowledge you bring to us as a company, and just to be able to hand our clients over and just say like, please just look after this person. It's as a business owner, and Mark shares this sentiment with me, like it's to have the peace of mind to be able to hand over a client to say, can you please just give this person what they need and know that it's going to get done. That is so valuable for us.
And
So
thank you.
we can't do all this on our own. We need people. We run the risk of not taking care of our clients. So thank you. And
And to the viewers, hold on, before we go, one more piece of content. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. The listener, the viewer, the dentist, the teams, the receptionists, the CGS, CDAs, hygienists, all of you. We work with a ton of you. We love you all. God bless.